Welcome to Class 2 of the School of Recognition. Just to review, I'll ask if there's any ideas about the definitions you need to go over. I think that's the only thing we covered in last week's class. And this week, we're going to go over the laws and the dynamics of the laws. But if there's any particular questions before we move on with the next part of the material, let me know. Raise your hand, unmute yourself, yell at me. Say, help, I don't understand a particular idea. Good, looks like you're all good with that. What I want to reiterate with this is I had one of the students that just went through the last class, and we had about a 45-minute conversation the other day, and she was just losing her mind about things. And she was cycling herself very hard because she was addicted to the way that she behaved. I don't want you to ever discount the power of the truth that you have, because you must remember truth creates realities. It attracts situations. It attracts versions of people in your reality, versions of everything in your reality, the quality of your food, the quality of your clothes, the quality of your life. Make no fucking mistake about it. Everything is about your relationship to reality and the dynamic truth that you hold things. On my last Sunday's live that I did, we talked about the value. People have value in guilt. The only way you can ever feel guilt is if you were taught to feel guilt. Humans, we got to learn guilt. What else did we learn? We learned pride. We learned prejudice. We learned hate. We learned disappointment. We learned content. We learned happiness, joy, ecstasy. We learned these things because as far as we don't know what it feels like to be a God. And whatever anyone tells you is pulling a God, what God is pulling from a source called human that doesn't know their gods. That's interpreted by a human. So unless you sat in front of an alien and had a one-on-one conversation on what is it like to be God, I would go ahead and not trust those truths that you find on humanity and shape your world using that to navigate your world, to create your reality. So this point forward, you must recognize everything about you is human. And what we're here to do is first class and first class only. The foundation that is absolutely vital for your stepping stones of ascension is to recognize your own truths. Humility, buy a shitload of fucking humble pies, buy a deep freezer, and start eating your humility. Humble pie. Over and over again, because you're going to recognize the only one that's doing anything and everything to you is you. Only you, nobody else but you. Not on purpose, not with masochists, not with cause and effect. Those are explanations, those are called reasons, those are called human. You do it to yourself because that's all you know. So we have to first unknow what we know, so we can learn or have attracted what we forgot. And it's all there. Every single one of you is a God. Every single one of you have access to the eternal knowledge. What shuts it down is your appetite for it, your want, your desire, your absolute frustration, your needs. Those are the things of human, not God's. Gods aren't guilty. We're not afraid. We don't have fear. We don't have distrust. We don't have hope. We don't have disappointment. We don't have expectations. You know what we do? We create in the moment, and we live the unconditional every moment. We don't need anything because we're absent of nothing. We lack zero because we're whole beings. So understand this is so vital. So understand, please. Understand this is about recognizing everything about you. We're not going to get much into it. We're building the foundation first, and I got to have you understand the laws. Then we're going to build that wonderful little person that you are called the observer. And then you're going to start looking at yourself and go, how do I feel? I have a bit of a comparison going on. Oh, How fucking egoic of me. I'm comparing myself to a God right there who's living their world, and I want to make myself feel better because I'm going to compare against them because I have pride about it. Now, you have to get in tune with yourself to notice your own prejudice and pride within your consciousness and realize that's an emotion that's built from humanity. Gods don't compete. We don't compare because we don't have any lack. This I know because the work I've done. You can have it as a knowing. Right now you can believe it, but belief implies doubt. It is polarized. It has an argument on both sides. But a knowing demolishes everything of polarity. It is a state of being. It's unquestionable. It's a foundational. So these are the things we will learn going forward in this class. Don't worry, we'll get to what to do with the beliefs. And when you get into that part, that's where the work is going to really start to show and make an enormous difference in your life if you choose this path, a difficult path, where I've laid that out before you. But a path nonetheless that you can take. And mine's not the only path, but mine works. It works. Okay? So next section we want to go over. So no questions on the vocabulary thus far. Okay, next section we want to go over the laws. Section 2. In the following section, fill out the answers to each instruction or question. Name the 5 laws of creation and give personal understanding to each law. Now, your personal understanding is not a graded idea. This is starting a measurement idea for yourself. These are questions that no one asks you. You're going to have to start searching your inner self, not what the right answer is. Okay? There's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. You're not looking for those. Okay? You're looking for your answer, what it is to you. That's a different part of you. This part is right and wrong. This part is polarized. This part is knowing the true answer for you, the right answer for you. That's not right for anybody else and not wrong for anyone else. Because again, you're not comparative. Make sense? Okay. So law 1. I don't need to really look at this. Law 1 is you can put it 2 ways. I exist or you exist. So you can have the paper when you read it, the paper is telling you you exist. If you write you exist. If you're reading the paper and you write I exist, you have to say that. I exist. Okay? / I am. That's exactly, if any of you read the Christian Bible, the Old Testament, I am. Thou shalt have no gods before me. You need to take that subjectively because the whole creation, everything is subjective. Everything is through your point of view, your interpretation, your emotions, your perception, your truth. No one else's. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It can't belong to anyone else. It's solely, inclusively yours. I am. This is number 1. Some of your belief systems might strike this hard that you have to serve yourself before you serve others. Serving others is trying to get people's attention with the posture of, or the attitude of the approach to the now to serve. I serve people in the moment with no intention to serve. My presence serves. It changes people's lives because I am. I'm different today because I met new people today. I saw new people today. I experienced new people today. In the class, I got to see face to face Katya. I got to see Allison. Guess what? I'm new for that. I'm better for that. I'm evolved because of their presence, because of I am. What it's measured is each individual. People walk by people all the time and they're like, I don't notice them. They're odd. They're a waste of a human. they're envious. Doesn't matter. Everything going forward now is all about how you translate your world and whether you choose to discern those truths and start to recognize whether you have a whole bunch of diarrhea inside of you, your belief systems, or you have God inside of you. And the answer is truly you have both. But now you're going to start to separate the shit and start destroying one part of you so the other part of you can come out and you can start expressing that and feeling that. Graciela. Yeah, I can do that. Hang on, guys, just 1 second. Let me do this. Is this, I sent it out, but maybe I didn't send it to her. I was on a roll too. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. Okay, let's just go back to I am. What's an example of I am? Your awareness, your presence, your mattering. Okay? These laws are going to start to tie in with each other. And what you're going to notice is that 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of the laws are all acting at the same time in the moment. Some may only, in the moment, be between 1 and 5 are always happening, depending on your relationship. Your relationship is your interpretation, the way you feel about things. The way you feel about things, your mind and your ego is going to tell you that's human. That's what life is. That's natural. It's going to argue with me because I'm telling you different, but I'm not telling you different. I'm telling your belief system's different. That's what you're going to have to recognize. That's what you're going to have to scrutinize. That's what you're going to have to understand in yourself to say, wait a minute, let me mature about this, create this wonderful little observer that can see my own belief systems and then choose whether I want to live this way. Because right now, if you change nothing, your life will not change. You will attract the same realities. You will have the same interpretations. You will feel the same way. You will have your up and down, in and out. You're going to have an eternal idea of chasing happiness or hope. And you're going to have your moments, wonderful. But then you're going to remain human. This isn't about remaining human. This is about ascending. Enlightening yourself to the potential of ascending yourself to be a walking God right here on earth if you choose. Ascending the thing without death is if you choose. This is not a pipe dream. This is not a hope. This is a reality for you to have. The only thing you have to do is unwind the mind. So you have to understand that A number 1 is you are. I am. Your awareness tells you that. So if creation has chosen you to exist, how can you be unworthy? How can you be less than? How? You're not a mistake. You don't have to earn your way back. You don't need to earn respect. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. From lack, we have built great realities of experience, phenomenal, unknown realities. For a God to actually feel less about themselves, to envy another God, to hope that itself can have a joyous and auspicious or a joyous, willful reality of unknown gratitude. It can have these things. That's what humans think, because we created a hole in all of us. We separate ourselves, we have a void, and it's empty, because it's not the presence of our I am is gone. You are, guys, humans in general, are I am through resume, through accomplishment. I'm a dad, I'm a mom, I'm a good worker, I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, I've done that. Here's what I am, here's what I am. Talk to anyone long enough and they'll start telling you about yourself, telling them about themselves so they can have some kind of approval from you. Because they want you to know that they count. Of course they count. Everybody counts. Everyone is a singular point of view of I am. Source doesn't sit over there. Source isn't over there. Where's Source at? Your source. You birthed me. You created me. You're God. You're the one, the only God, period. And the weirdest part about I am is so am I. But since I am the only one here, how would I ever judge another? How would I look at another? I'm judging myself. I'm looking at myself and saying, you're not worth my time. You're not worth my presence. Another God tells me I'm wrong. See, all of that is this tiny little slipstream of consciousness called humanity. It's a bubble of a reality that no one went into until the first human ventured into separation. The first God that created the incarnation that ventured into separation. They used to be called daywalkers. I'll tell you the story sometime on that. But think about that. Why would we not want to come here? Anyone ever watch Abraham? What did Abraham say about humans? They couldn't wait to get here. Every God could not wait to get an incarnation to get on this planet. No matter what incarnation it is, any availability at all. Because it's an experience that's priceless. But we look at the experience through human perspective as polarized. We always want the good show and avoid the bad. And we struggle our entire lives to maintain. We use each other as cattle and fodder at the same time. We fleece each other. We're horrible to each other. It is a tragedy what we've done to ourselves from human. But if you look at it from the God, it's a miracle. It's priceless. Because I got to suffer for the first time. I got to hate my parents for the first time. I may have done it 1,000 other lives. I don't know. I don't care now. But this life is what matters. This is me now. I am the one living. I am. Now I understand the beauty of it. Because it gave me a perspective I can never grow from. Never feel unless I forgot I was a God. So the I am matters. So this day forward, don't discount yourself. And stop parading your pride or your prejudice and comparison. Stop it. You don't need it. You don't need proof that you're fucking enough. That's you selling you a story that you are enough. Your presence is enough because without me, without you, there's nothing. Because of a particular law that we'll get to. Second law. Everything is here and now. Everything is here and now. Did Graciela not come in yet? No. Everything is here and now. Okay, what does that mean? Life is only now. Okay, now let's think about something. What gives us the perception of time? Most of you know this. Most of you that have been in the advanced classes know. What gives us the perception of time? One thing gives us the perception of time. Make no mistake about it. Here's a moment of time. Here's a timeline. How are we past? I wrote past. How do we have a past? The only way to have a past in this little time here is a memory. If you ever read Ramtha's material, you know, then you would have known that we never, as a part of our own evolution as a species, we never had a memory. We finally created memories. Remember, we were infants when we started. We didn't know any experience. Okay, we didn't start out as the gods that everyone down here, all knowing gods. We evolved. But not recklessly and stupidly as humans would think, as they look at their children that need protection, that need to be whipped into ideas of versions of themselves because they have enough lack that they think these people don't have a mind of their own. How ludicrous. But that's how we have a past. It's because we have a memory. Your memory is real, and what it remembers is a reality. It's not fake. It happened. Whether it happened on a physical plane or whether you created the experience in your psyche is irrelevant. It still happened. Seth. What does Seth say about the Christ conscience? Read your Seth material. Seth material, Seth speaks, any of them. Don't care. Start with Seth speaks or Seth material, doesn't matter. If you haven't read them, read them. That the entire Christ conscious drama played out in the human psyche, not one drop of the physical incarnation of that entire timeline of the Christ conscience took place in a physical earth and took place in consciousness, and everyone had an experience with each other in the conscious vibration. They didn't actually experience at the rate of physical vibration. So the memory is real. But it's only real to you. And it's only real when? Now. There's nothing then. Then is an experience of the memory that's happening now. How do we create the future? How do we create the future? We use memory to create the future. Because the future is unknown, and no one can know the unknown. You can know the unknown from a different perspective of yourself in a different space-time continuum. To know the future here, if you're in time, absolutely. But that's a whole nother class. Well, that would be a series of classes. But in the now, you must know what you are now. So if I wanted to imagine what the future is going to be like, where am I going to pull the material from? My memory. So my past creates my futures. 99.9% of humans' past creates their futures through this wonderful veil called fear. Fear is an emotion. It belongs to humanity. It starts and stops with humanity. Arcturians don't fear us because they don't have fear. They're intelligent not to come yet because we'll try to shoot them down, kill them, because we're not ready for them yet. Because our psyche, our human collective psyche, isn't prepared for that yet. They're not collectively vibration or an acceptance level of open contact yet. But humans put all kinds of their drama on top of what is out there and what it's going to be. Politicians sell their platforms on hope and fear. Prejudice of what's wrong and how I'm going to change it. Here's your future through me. It's an idea that you build in your own head. It's not wrong. It's human. So you have to start looking what you're doing to yourself every here and now. There is no there and then. There and then is a perception of here and now. The future is a perception of here and now. Sly had talked about a possible future of now this new administration coming in on what's going to happen, and it was doom and gloom. Doesn't have to be that, no. Probably won't be that, right? How about this? Who gives a fuck? Because I guarantee you this. I guarantee it 100%. If you have the discipline to not have expectations of your future, and you vibrate the authentic God right now, then you will attract a singular bubble that co-creates in all the versions of humanity that will only be versioned to the likeness of your authenticity, and you will never get a counterance to that beautiful person you are that you're beaming out. Because that's what vibration does. Right now, we have an inauthentic earth because we're inauthentic. The more authentic you become, the more vibrationally aligned you become with yourself, you create a different future. From when? Here and now. Everything is here and now. Don't worry about your bills. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about when, this, that, and the other. Don't. Because it doesn't matter. Because none of that's happening now. And all of your fears about what might happen and what you have to do. How many of you start looking at your bank account? How many of you balance your bank account? How many of you budget yourself? Stop! Think I'm insane? You don't trust vibration then. Because balancing and educating or budgeting yourself to an idea of a life creates a life. That's what you're doing to yourself because you believe you have to be responsible. You don't believe in miracles to where if I want to get something but I can't afford it, but I get it, then I'm going to be in trouble. So you don't get it because your fear is selling you then. In the now, which is the vibration now, which creates your then because you keep doing that same vibration. That you're not God. Because you don't know where the money's going to come from. You don't know where the miracle lies. Because no one ever showed you that you're the miracle. Your simplicity of your natural state is the miracle. It doesn't have to be bought. It doesn't have to be earned. It's already what you are. You just have to take the shit off that's surrounding it right now. And we have to peel those layers away. How do we peel them? By recognizing. First step. So law 2, everything is here and now. The examples are there and then for me. If I have hope for the future and I want something in the future, then I'm telling creation right now, because the law is everything here and now. Creation doesn't speak the language of futures and past because that's a perception of an incarnation. A fish doesn't have a future. A fish is now, fish, 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 fish. It doesn't go, wow, I'm wondering what I'm going to do next. It doesn't have a next because it doesn't have a memory to have a next. It's fleeting moment. So if you think about your theirs and thens, that's how you create your nows. So if I want to be better then, what am I telling my vortex now? To align with Abraham's teaching, what am I putting into my vortex right now? If I tell the vortex, my vibration takes on the posture right now of I'm not enough, I need to be better then. I'm an alcoholic. That's a problem. You've accepted that's a problem. So now you have to be an alcoholic, carry that fucking label with you for your whole goddamn life. Never have a drink and just carry that with you as a fucking victim, as a pride of accomplishment and get fucking cheers. Tell your vortex, I'm a piece of shit. It's not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm only going to show you what you're doing to yourself by taking on the beliefs and structuring those as a vibrational interpretation of reality which calls out to the vortex the attraction of your world. I'm not saying these things are good or bad. What I'm saying is the relationships that you need to start noticing. I'll never tell the vortex I'm not enough. I'll never tell the vortex I'm not enough. I'll never hesitate on anything. I'll let the miracle happen, and you know what? 11 years later, it has happened every single time. So I don't have doubts anymore. I don't have cautions anymore. But it was excruciatingly fearful for me to do those steps because I was afraid of my future, because I didn't believe that I was a God. I didn't have the concept, but I had to earn my way to that through trust and courage of choice. I became a master at me. Do the same thing for yourself. You fucking deserve it. You deserve it. So always look at what you're doing here and now. Every approach. When you put on that silly little mask when you get to work, that's vibration. That's telling people you're the same person and they'll treat you the same way. I don't care if they treat you good or bad. It's not about good or bad. It's about internal authenticity. Who's the person you really want to be in the now, no matter who's in front of you? Don't put on your work face. You see why people are alive outside of work? They're these fucking wicked monsters sometimes. They're these crazy binge drinkers or partiers. But at work, they're all perfect and stuff because they're putting on a mask. And their escape is that. But neither version is them by nature. That's an unknown for each singularity to discover. That's the work of this masterclass that you've chosen to sign up for, and then, well, here you are. Right? Okay. So examples of that for me are there and then. What I project. Okay, my guilt from the past. My regrets. Those are relationships. I haven't done a fucking thing wrong. The only thing that I've ever done wrong is if someone says I did it and I said, wow, I did that wrong, I'll accept that. And then I'm wrong. Right here, in my head, because I accepted someone else's truth. Right? What? They're saying in universes, I get conversations while I'm giving these classes. Universes, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. You don't know that concept because you don't understand the fullness of 1 and 1. But down here, 1 + 1 does equal 2, and if you say 3, then you're going to be wrong. But there are places in creation, relationships that will create a reality where 1 + 1 is 3. And to understand that, we have to remove the human. Good example. Okay, number 3. He's a good one. What you put out is what you get back. That's what everyone is mad at. My first experience in the first 4 or 5 years of waking up, I got people very mad at the mirror. I listened to the Abraham things on YouTube. Why aren't they getting back what they put out? And they didn't understand Abraham's answer because they weren't looking at the reality through an unconditional eye. You have to look at the reality through a different perspective, a different lens in order to understand what the vortex is. The vortex, once again, doesn't speak positive and negative. The vortex speaks the authentic truth of yourself. Am I lacking or am I authentic? See, all the positivity that you've done, all the hard work for positive ideas, that you've done and you haven't got back positive reflection. I'm putting out positive. Why did I attract this asshole? Why is this negative thing happening to me? Because you're putting out a posture of a positive idea. Creation isn't positive. Who the fuck told us that? Well, that's all we learned, so of course we did. Creation is positive, God, and negative, devil. Joy, suffering. That's it. Representations of our emotions. Simple. So we work on what we like to feel. We like to feel good, so we've created an enormous amount of fucking foods, over here in America anyway, that give us comfort and happiness. Escapes galore. Ways to feel happy because life sucks. It hurts to go to work every day. It hurts to do this, to get in the traffic and have to. Because if I don't, I'm going to be this. Fear, here's my future. If I don't do this now, my futures be this, and this will happen, and it'll be reinforced because your truth is that. So of course it'll be that, because you're that vibration. You don't raise your vibration by being positive. You raise your vibration by being authentic. But you don't even know who the hell you are. You know who the human is, but you don't know who you are. And that's why we got to dig. And dig and dig and recognize and deconstruct all of those things and allow this persona to emerge. This beautiful unknown being that doesn't pride itself, doesn't posture itself, doesn't command itself. It is itself with freedom and flow. Slipstream is what I call it. So in order to put out what you're putting out and what you're getting back, you've got to look at the truths that you are. Okay? You got to put out the truths of what you are. You got to start interpreting realities quite differently. You can no longer be reactive and then put the same enabling reality right back into it. If someone's a victim to you, they come to you searching for your sympathy, and you give them sympathy because you have heart and you care and you love and you help them one seeking their idea. You place them as a victim. That vibration enables and validates their victimization. So they'll never evolve. They'll stay the same and they'll seek the same behavior because that's all they know. And they'll keep going until they get satisfied with what the input is of getting their sympathy or empathy. What happens if you give them authenticity? And in the moment, it's like bullshit. Get off your ass and go to work. Get off your ass and stop seeking this idea. Some people might call that a cold heart. Some people might call that Republican. Think about it. You got to look at this. You got to look at what is authentic to you and start being that person in the moment. Here and now, the authentic self was what you feed the vibration of the vortex, and I guarantee you your life will start to crumble as you know it through your memory, and you'll build the unknown now because the unknown is finally able to get to you. Do you realize, again, to quote Abraham, everything you've ever wanted, not what you wanted egoically, wanted in your vibrational nature, is trying to get to you. But what do humans do? No, I don't deserve that. I can't do that. That's impossible. No. Vibration. Telling the vortex, no, I don't deserve this. And that's all done through behavior. It's not done through an actionable gesture of that, I don't deserve this. Sometimes it is. You get something, people go, oh, why did you do that? I can't take that. No way. Okay? Yes. Someone in the class has a memory that we just shared. When I would go to the grocery stores and some people didn't have money sometime and I would pay for their groceries and I'd have to fight them. credit card didn't work. They didn't have enough money because there wasn't enough money on their food stamps. See, that's not sympathy. That's a God in the now expressing its authenticity. That's what I am by nature. But they fight it. They don't deserve it. They can't take it. No, I can't possibly do that. No, I will figure something. No, it's already here. But they fight for their less than. Because they don't deserve it. Why? Because they didn't earn it. They expect me to want something back. I wonder if you guys have the discipline. If someone comes to your door and hands you a suitcase of $5 million in it, would you ask them why, or would you say thank you and shut the fucking door? Doesn't matter why they're doing it. Why? What did I do to deserve this? You don't deserve anything. You attract. That's why the here and now is so vital. Because everything is here and now is what you're putting into your vortex. So now let's observe what we're putting in our vortex. I put out all these positive energies. Why am I not getting positive? Because it doesn't speak positive and negative. It doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak hope. It doesn't speak justice, right and wrong. It speaks vibration, authentic vibration from each singularity. And since we were born, as we said in definition, separated, we are not authentic. We are a version of what humanity created, that we said what we are. The outside's telling me I was a boy when I was little. Everyone was telling me I was a boy. But my behavior was a girl. I couldn't think like a boy. I was like, what's wrong with these guys? I was so angry, I didn't understand, but I had to play the game because I was a boy. I wasn't a boy. I've never been a boy. I have the body parts and the face. I get it. But it wasn't what I was inside. It wasn't what my experience was telling me. I followed my heart and my life became a goddamn paradise. But I had to build the paradise. It wasn't given to me. I had to take down the walls. I had to deconstruct to allow paradise to come in. That was my first step of being authentic. My world crumbled around me, but it also built. So this is the idea of being your authentic. What are you putting into your vortex? Putting out, getting back. Putting out, getting back. Putting out, getting back. Next time you have a thought, you want to say it, but then your second thought says better not because something might happen. As soon as you heard the word but, everything after the word but, flush it down the goddamn toilet and express your authentic. Because you're going to feel fabulous about yourself. Now, the mirror might not approve, but you're not there for everyone's approval. How many of you try to keep your house maintained? Why, how many of you in your life try to keep the peace? To do what's best for everyone else? How long are you going to carry that fucking posture? Carry it as long as you want because it's your world. I don't care. It's not my job to care. I don't care what you do to yourselves because it's not in my business. I can only in business for myself. But I can show you how you can start to love yourself and take this awesome singular point, the one, the only God, and help itself wake up and say, oh yeah, that's right, I'm God. This is all me. I like what I've done with the place. Yeah. That's the authentic. That's what we're going to search for. And remember, it's not comparable. Gods are raw and unconditional, but in their own unique ways. The ego mind is busy to compare, to formulate an idea of behavior against the measurement that has been standardized throughout the years. You know, for thousands of years, drilling holes in the heads of people to let out the demons was common practice. Taking your dead and dumping them on the street and having the guy come by on a little cart, bring out your dead. See, that was common practice. See, we've evolved. We don't let out the demons because we know the demons is a relationship in your mind. They're created truths for experience. So we've matured as a species. We're evolving. And you're the next generation of light bearers. To bring something to the planet so they can understand you don't have to be this way or that way. You can be your way finally. And your way must be scrutinized with an assassin's eye to keep a sharp lookout for those ideas of vibrational postures you still hold as dependencies of behavior. And you'll clean up that vortex, I guarantee it. Law 4. An example of what you put out is what you get back. We gave, I think, plenty of those, but, putting out positive and getting back an asshole. And how do people that are shit brains and fucking assholes get lucky all the time? Because you're interpreting them an asshole, but they're authentic. So you know what the universe is going to do them? The universe is going to give them what they want because the universe is unconditional. It doesn't listen to what you think is right or wrong. It doesn't listen to anyone who thinks right or wrong. It only listens to one thing, authentic. Where's the light of God? And it attracts right there, quickly, steadily, beautifully aligned to that light. Right now it's all skewed with this wonderful veil of I'm not God. And all the beliefs that we're defending ourselves. Wrapped up in that little eggshell of encrusted barnacles that we have to chip away. Law 4. The one are all and the all are one. Okay? So, let's say, so God goes, and we're going to use time. So we're going to think in the past. So we're all going to use the memory and the concept of time by having a past. Okay? So we're going to think of our history of God a long time ago because we work in a space-time continuum. So of course we're going to use time as an ally to teach and comprehend. So, but it all happens in the now. But for time, God was a long time ago, and God is aware, and he's like, boop, 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 boop. And please, I use he or she innocuously as possible, okay? It's not he or she, it's exclusive here. I don't know if we ought to just call it from now on, whatever. So God is going, okay, here I am, right here. I've got nobody else. So I only can be aware of myself. I wonder if there's anyone else. Nope. I don't even know what another else is. But I only have me. So what else is there besides me? There can't be because I'm creation and I'm all that is. So there's only me. So maybe I'll create another me. Me. This is God and this is God. They're both the equal gods. There's not divided. See, that's your mind right here. Your mind is divided. Your mind thinks two. This and that. Us and them. She and he. Me and you. That's the divided mind. But it's God, God. What's the difference? Perspective. So source is what we are. All God's creating creation. Source is everything. Source is everything. I'm source, you're God, I'm God, you're creator, they're creator. It's all, but the difference is we all have what we talked about in the definition, subjective points of view, our singular truth. You'll never understand everything I say, see, feel, interpret. You can't because you're not me. You're you. But you're me because you're God. And I'm you because you're God. And that concept is a wonderful concept to dive into because it'll take you to universes and it'll bend your mind and it'll crack those edges that you have and it'll start to allow concepts and understandings in And don't use any kind of excuse that you're not good with books and human education. Fuck that. This is already built in. Human education and all that experience and doctors and scientists and everything is a wonderful experience. It's great. It's beautiful. Yes, but I'm not talking about learning through that process. I'm talking about learning through what's already in you and allowing it to realize and allowing it to flourish and allowing your mind to start to conceptualize. And it will. Because you're that intelligence. So God says, I want another God. And God says, I want another God. And so we all just start moving and we start finding ways to do stuff and start creating little die. And this is what the chaos is. One God smashed into another God and said, God, give me more. You're right, I want something else. And we got another reality and another experience and growth and growth and growth. And now we have an infinite number of creators. In your awareness, being a God, not being a human dying. The humans that die, they don't know they're gods and they're just having the experience and they think God is outside of them and they hope they go to heaven and hell and all that stuff or whatever it is. Those ones right there will go back to their whole collectives and be their whole self, and this will be a memory in the gestalt of you. But those of you that are awake, ones that sit before me, have an idea to continue itself, to evolve this idea of itself, to not go back to its whole self and leave Roxanne or Allison or Smitty or Ann or Debbie or Katya as a memory, but continue it. We can't. Why? Because we're gods. There's no rules. There's no one in charge. There's no one to tell us fucking no. Except our ego. Always know that. So the all are one, one are all. We're all equal. We're all the same God. But in order to experience creation, evolution, we have to create another self. So I'm God, said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and create Ann. Ann, why don't you create? Ann goes, I'll create Smitty. Smitty goes, let me create Debbie. Debbie goes, let me create Petey. Petey goes, let me create David. David goes, let me create Ray. Kevin. And we're aware. We're not bodies. We're not alive or dead. We're aware. We're law one. We're isness. We're I am. We're present. Okay? Last law. We got a few more minutes. The last law is change is the only constant except for the first four laws. So the first four laws can't change, and the fifth law is change. So change is constant. The unknown is always there. But see, we have this wonderful gift that we've given ourselves. We can keep things the same. Why? Because we can choose our memory. The now is always change. There's always a different way to perceive, always a different way to interact, always a different way to choose. Just the smallest choice creates a change. That change creates timelines, vibrations, realities of change. See, humans are depending on a safe and secure future. So it does what it does best to think for itself, to protect itself, to protect its family, to do what it's supposed to do, to get through this idea of life on earth, this punishment, this hell, this whatever we've done to ourselves. But that's what keeps you there. One time the explanation of why things are was offered to me, and it's so exquisite. It's like my past is the way it was. It's because I'm God. And the future is the way it will be. It's because I'm God. I will things into place, and that's what I know. So until I change, I cannot receive, be represented, attract change. Because if I keep putting out the same motif, if I keep angering my separation, putting down others, questioning reality, trying to hold up my ego with pride and saying, no, that's not right, this is the way it is, then I will never see that. And you can have that. It's rightfully yours. And you can make yourself feel good by putting down another or calling something bullshit. But you know what? You're living in your own world, and that's yours. No one else is interpreting it that way. Oh, you can hurt people with your judgments and guilt because people have that. They have victimization built in. They have less than. I was hurt a lot of times in my life. I had hope because I was a fun little person and I thought everything was good until my parents said, no, things aren't good, things are bad. And you don't fit the bill. You're wrong. So now I got to experience pain. I got to experience disappointment. I got to experience someone else making me feel bad. And I didn't like it. But I had to change in order to understand. And the first change I had came in June of 2010. When I walked out of that house as Roxanne and never put on those goddamn clown shoes again and became Roxanne. And that was my first change to being authentic. That change led me to where I'm at right now. And I fucking love my life. It is unequivocally. I don't have products. I don't have materialism. I don't have a bank account worth of shit. But what I have is the now. If I compare it, it's not a great life. It's a good life, not a great life. But I don't compare it anymore because I'm not looking at the things of emotional measurement. I'm living the unconditional contentment of my own existence. And I'm moving forward through that growth of myself, taking my contentment and expanding into bliss as I move forward. Not relying on items of externalism to bring me happiness, not relying on my dependency to cycle me into sadness. I don't need that anymore because I'm too mature for it. I'm not a child playing on the sandbox anymore. I put down the toys and started maturing and growing into myself. Chronological age has nothing to do with it. Education has nothing to do with it. Self-worth, self-discovery is everything. So the fifth law is the first four laws, and the fifth law is change. So the first four laws, the only constant is the first four laws except for fifth law is change. Change is the only constant except for the first four laws. That's a better way to say it. And one thing about it, I noticed about this, because I've seen a lot of people put out a whole bunch of diarrhea, and I call it diarrhea because that's my truth. And their truth is their truth, and it might be golden to some people, but it's diarrhea to me. And it's not a judgment. Why? Because it's my authentic. You got to remember, the only one judging anyone is you. If I'm authentic about my words stand alone without polarity. If you perceive it that way, that's your rodeo. Always remember that. There is no standards of morals anywhere in creation, save the standards that you create in your head based upon your cultural beliefs of reality creating your world. Okay? But they had all these different laws. They had like 12 fucking laws. Any law that binds, tells you you can't, tells you this is a must, you have to, you know they're human. Because these laws don't demand anything of you. They show you what you are, and they show you how reality works. That's it. Nothing demanding of you. So you know they're clean, and they're healthy, and they're beautiful. So get to know your laws. Any questions? I know we're a little over on time. And for those of you, you can look at the, I think it's the react button on the computer, and that through that react button down there, it's got a little heart, and you can hit raise hand on the iPad or the iPhone, or on the phone. I'm not sure how it is. I think you have to swipe or something if you ever have a question. Okay, so next week we start getting into more of the workbook, more of the recognition ideas to recognize ourselves. You guys got to give this a couple of years, but I'm telling you, a couple of years and your life will be nothing like it was before. You'll shatter everything that you were and start to build this new person. You'll understand it. Just do the work Trust yourself, commit to these ideas, and I'll show you what I've discovered.